Hello, friends, and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you could tell by my thumbnail, it's my finishing Friday. I haven't had one of these in a good while, but you can see I have my little bumblebee baby quilts here on my machine. I just cut it on, so I haven't even started anything. I sandwiched this up this morning. I thought, what better day to get something finished than this? I'll tell y'all that in my updates on Monday. I have something to tell y'all, and it's disappointing. So just stay with me, and we'll get started on this. Okay, so what I want to do is show you some of my machine setup and what I'm doing and how I'm going to do this. I don't normally quilt on my machine here, but this is a small enough project that I can do that. First thing I've done, now I know you can't see this, but I've put my my seam guide right here, or my stitch guide. I've got it set at 2 inches. So I'm doing a hatch quilt thing on here. I'm using just the standard stitch. I'm not using a fancy stitch. It's just going to be plain. I am using Dove, the Aurifil Dove. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, if I rub my nose, they're cutting the corn in our area. And I'm allergic to corn dust. Go figure. And it's got my nose itching. But what I have done, I have sandwiched up, and I noticed in the sandwich, I moved that pin and caught the edge there. And you will hear I've got kitty cats this morning. I always have kitty cats, don't I? And so to prepare this, I've sandwiched. I have marked this diagonal right here as my starting point. And let me get them out of here, because that one that you hear right now is talking, and she will talk the whole morning. Okay, so I think I got the talker out, but I have my little Oscar still in here. He may want out in a little bit. But what I'm going to do, I've marked my stitch line for the first squares, and then I will just move my quilt into the machine. So, and I'll be rolling it up. So, just watch and let's see how that goes. Because I have not done this, and I haven't actually quilted on my machine in a while. So, we are going to see how it goes. Let me turn that guide foot up just a little bit, because I don't need it right now. And I'm so happy to be working on something that I'm finishing, because y'all know I've had this laid over here in my bin for a year, actually. That's sad. I should have gotten this done a long time ago. I have some more projects over here that I'm wanting to finish as well. And hopefully I can get to it. Okay, so now I have done that first stitch. And what I'm going to do is go back to the beginning here. I know a lot of people would be like, well, no, just go back and forth. I don't do that. I'm going to go one stitch. Now I've got to get off the machine, off the fabric here. Of course, my stitch line does not go as far, and my cat's going to be out in there, and she's going to make all kinds of noise for me. So I'm holding my fabric. I probably need my gloves on, don't I? Let me put them on. I'm going to put both of my gloves on, because that way I can hold everything flat, pull outward. And I'm just following that stitch line that I had. And I need to make sure everything is flat. And I will just remind everyone, I'm not shooting for perfection. I'm shooting for done. Okay. Once I get done going all of my rows this direction, I will then start going the, you know, cross hatching. Now, is this going to be perfect? Absolutely not. I'm not perfect, so why would I expect my quilting to be perfect? It's not going to be. And I've got these strings that pull out. So what I'm doing is I've got to remove a pin here. Have to find my little pin box over here. Find my stitch. And once again, I'm going to start following my seam line or my stitch line there. So guys, I hope y'all are doing great on this Friday afternoon. It's Friday morning when I'm recording this. I noticed I didn't have something done. And that does make a difference, y'all. May not think it does. I did not put my dual feed control foot down. And it really does make a difference. I'm shocked at how big of a difference it makes. But it makes a huge difference. It's almost like a walking foot for you. And I know I probably had people questioning, why ain't she using a walking foot while she quilts? Because I don't have to with this dual feet foot control system. I'm loving this so much I may not even cross hatch. Yeah, I've got to cross hatch it. Because then it wouldn't even look right. But it's probably going to look like a honeycomb, you know, stitch. And there's honeycombs in this. So that would be really cute. If I could figure out how to do a honeycomb stitch. But I'm just following my stitch line. I'm going to be doing it row by row. And so let's chat now while I'm stitching. Let's see, it is Friday. Did any of y'all see that blue moon? Here, right across from my house, there's a large open field. So I got a very good view of it. I'm kind of facing southwest. And, y'all, that moon was so huge. My husband, he kept going, that's such a huge moon. And I'm like, baby, it's a blue moon. That's a blue moon. I remember seeing a blue moon. I can't even remember when it was. I can't remember if I was in high school or college. And I'm sure there's been blue moons since then. It's just, I was raising kids. The color of the moon was of no importance to me. Now, their daddy followed stuff like that, so he, you know, if there was a blue moon, he probably showed it to them. But for me, yeah, I was just trying to keep them alive at the end of the day. And that was my goal. Because not only was I raising kids, but I was working a full-time job. And sometimes I was working 2 jobs. But I didn't work 2 jobs until they got older. They were, I think they were all in high school. Well, no. They weren't in high school. I think, actually, they were all still in school. My oldest, no, I don't even think she was in high school. I worked 2 jobs when my husband and I got, my husband now, when he and I got married. And he told me to quit my second job. He didn't want me working 2 jobs. That was just too much. He just determined that was just too much for me to be doing. But anyway, off of how many jobs I work, if you don't wear many hats, well, I don't know about other people, but for me, if I don't wear many hats, I'm not busy enough. And I have to stay busy to keep my mind from wandering. And what I mean by that is it don't wander in a bad way. It wanders in a, what can I remodel today kind of way. A bad way for my husband and my pocketbook. But as long as I am staying busy and doing a lot of things that keeps me from doing things like that, it's a good day. And y'all, it has been the weather has been so agreeable here these past few days. I don't know. I watch YouTube at night when I go to bed. And sometimes I watch in my sewing room. when I'm just doing mindless sewing. I see where a lot of people, I watch a lot of homestead channels, and I see where a lot of people are talking about how it's gotten cool. Y'all don't trust that. Well, down here in the South, we cannot trust that. That's just our fall appetizer. That's just the, hey, let's see what's to come. Because it's going to get back up to 100 degrees again before it gets cold. So y'all don't get comfortable with that. I have been loving these. We wake up in the morning and it's like in the lower 70s. It is fabulous. Because normally in the summertime we wake up and it's already in the mid 80s. And that's hot to me, y'all. I don't like waking up with it 80 degrees. I tell my husband all the time, I think I'm built to live in Alaska. Because and if I didn't have grandbabies and parents that I help take care of, well, they take care of themselves. It ain't that I help watch after. I'd be in Alaska right now. That's my temperate zone. I think I need to live in Alaska. But I can't tell you any woman, I guess what, over the age of 50, most women that start having them hot flashes, you're going to be wanting Alaska. I'm telling you. Because you have one of them good old hot flashes. And if you haven't stood in the door of your freezer yet, you don't know what I'm talking about. We are hoping to get this done today in a short amount of time, actually. I am getting ready to... The reason I'm choosing this project to do today is because I'm getting ready to go get my granddaughter. She's going to stay the night with me tonight. So I was just wanting to get a little something done and out of the way to have for you guys this evening. Because I know there will be no sewing done while my grandbaby's here. None. We will probably go shopping. We'll probably go watch us a movie. She will be turning a year old, y'all. A year old. Within the next week. That is crazy. And that baby's already got a mouthful of teeth. She's got, I know, 4 on top and 4 on bottom. I think her mama told me last night that she's trying to cut some other teeth right now. And that they're having to give her, she was kind of giving me the rundown on what they're having to do right now. Making sure I have things that she don't need to send extra. I have diapers. I have baby bath wash. I have toys. I have blankets. I don't need all that stuff. Because that's just something else I have to remember to make sure to pack back up for her. She don't know it, but I even have clothes here for her. So she probably won't wear anything she sends. Just so I don't have to wash it. And make sure to get it back to her, you know. Because I don't send my grandbabies home with dirty clothes. If they wear it at my house, it gets washed at my house. But that is something I need to go do. I only have a t-shirt here for her. I sent all of her other clothes home with her. Because I was afraid she was going to outgrow them before she got to wear them. So I sent them with her. So I need to go get a few play outfits for her to wear here. And I guess I need to get her little birthday toy put away because she's going to be here and she's going to see that birthday toy. And I don't want her seeing that toy wanting to take it home. Because then she won't have it for her birthday. Okay, so now is when my rolling starts. And it really won't matter when I'm rolling until I get to the midpoint of the quilt, because that's when the roll will really make a difference. Because right now, my roll's going to come undone every time I roll it. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend planned, even if it is just sitting and sewing and watching YouTube or playing with your grandbabies, spending time with your family. There's nothing more important than that. Making those memories with your family. I think about family members that are no longer with us and really miss them. But I'm so thankful for the memories that we have. Got to see my grandson last night to check on him, see how he was feeling. And, he just gets in the floor and just goes. He just goes and plays, and he was having himself a good old time. So I think I could safely say he is definitely on the mend. He is doing really good. He was playing with his Bubba. His Bubba is his dog. He has a beagle, and that dog loves him, and he loves that dog. And when you hear about a little boy and his dog and the love for his dog, it's there. That baby loves his dog. Now, my daughter and her fiance had this dog way before baby came along. And I was worried about the dog's disposition. Yeah, for some reason that didn't even up. Oh well. I may try to make it even up. It ain't going to. There is absolutely no way to make it. This one ended in the corner. This is not a perfectly square quilt. So it is what it is. And at the bottom of it, I probably am veering to the left a little bit. I'm going to have to take that glove off because I can't take these pins out with that glove on. But it sure does make it easier to... I probably am going to try to make this match up. It ain't going to look good, but I don't care. I do care. I don't want it to be off so bad that it... Probably what I should have done was done my line in my center and worked my way out on both sides. You live and learn. So this will not be something that I sell. I was thinking about selling this one. It won't be for sale. My grandbaby will get to play on it. But I've never done a crosshatch either, so I'm learning. Do your center first for sure. Both directions. Do your center both and then work your way out. But I guess when it's not a perfectly square quilt, yeah, definitely if it's not a perfectly square quilt, you will have to do your centers first. But you learn, don't you? I just learned something. And also, if you do that, it'll probably be easier to follow your seam too, because I was going off of the edge of the seam at the bottom, and that's probably where I went wrong. Although this is a little heavy right here. I'm going to roll this up just a wee bit right there. But after I sew this, I am going to bind it, and then I'm going to throw it in the wash. I have realized that once I finish a quilt, I really like it thrown in the washing machine. I really like it line dried, but I can't line dry anything here right now because they are still working on our road, and it is so dusty. I'm so happy, though, that they're working on our road because I'm telling you, y'all, it was like going down a minefield. You dodging potholes, and sometimes there were so many potholes, there was no way to miss it. I live in the country, and the road I live on, we have tractors that go up and down it a lot. So, I mean, you know, the road takes a lot. And the road I live on is a cut through for two main roads. or people use it as a cut through. 18-wheelers do too, but they're not supposed to because it's a substandard roadway, and 18-wheelers are not supposed to travel on substandard. They do. They come down ours. Hey, my Oscar, good morning. Good morning. Oh, that's my baby. My Oscar is saying good morning, y'all. He wants his neck rubs. You ready to go outside? Oh, you are. He looked at me when I said, you ready to go outside? He was like, yes, absolutely I am. You want to go outside and act like a wildcat? One moment, y'all. I'm going to let him outside. Okay, so I'm back. He finally got his sleep out good. He's a late sleeper. A lot of times in the morning when I head to work, I just have to leave him in bed. He sleeps at the foot of my bed with me. And he will stay in the bed when I leave for work. Because I leave for work by 5:30 in the morning. He is a late sleeper. He's a teenager when it comes to sleeping. He loves his sleep. But when he wakes up, he's ready to go outside. Now, I have my oldest cat, my older cat, my senior cat now, that he went outside last night and has not come back in, and normally he's at the door waiting to come in. So I'm a little concerned about that. I don't know, the time of the year it is, all of my cats are fixed, my males and females. I don't want kittens. I always adopt cats. Or I have strays that people have just, well, I involuntarily adopt. People drop cats off where I live all the time, and I don't like that. If a cat is dropped off at my house, I'm going to love it and take care of it and make sure, you know, it has good health care and all that. First thing I do is carry a cat to the vet. I make sure I don't have to worry about ringworms. I make sure it's got all of its shots. We check to see if it needs to be spayed or neutered, because we don't want kittens. Because once you start having kittens, then you start having feral cat. Because you start having a lot of kittens, there's no way to catch them all. And yeah, no. We've had that situation once, and we're not going to have it again. Actually, I didn't have that situation. That happened at my aunt and uncle's house. And there was some cats that stayed in the barn, or shop. We call it a shop, because it was my uncle's woodworking shop. And, you know, they were fine with 1 or 2 cats out there. They kept the mice population down. And before you knew it, there was about 20 cats out there. All them cats was having kittens. And they were feral cats. You couldn't get your hands on them. And I'm not going to have a cat at my house that I can't put my hands on. Because if I got a cat that I can't put my hands on, it needs to go. Because my grandbabies, when they get older, are going to want to put their hands on them. Because both of my grandbabies love my cats. Both of them. And my little baby girl that's coming today, she has a little Pomeranian dog. Now, their Pomeranian she's a little older. So, you know, she was set in her ways before the baby came. And she's not mean or anything. She's a sweet little girl. The little Pomeranian is. She's a precious little thing. And my son has fallen in love with this it was his wife's dog. She had 2 of them. And when my son was deployed, one of them passed in an accident. I can't think of an easier way to say it. Passed in an accident. And my son was devastated by that. And he wanted to get another one, like, immediately. And we're like, no, you're overseas. Let's wait until you get back. Because that would put a lot on his wife, you know, to try to train a new dog and have a new baby. That it was just too much. But now I think he may be out of that. I think he may be fine with having the one. And every time he comes home, the cat that went outside, and I think he's probably visiting a little girlfriend. But he is fixed. But that don't mean they are not interested. He claims that is his cat. He calls him Ralphie. I call him Little One. Because when we got him, somebody had thrown him out of the vehicle or dropped him off or something. He was in bad shape. He was skint, pretty much. And it looked like it was... He might have been, like, under someone's vehicle and fell out or something. But poor thing was skint. But we took him in and, you know, got him fixed up. And he was so tiny. He was the littlest one out of the bunch. So we called him Little One. Or I did. But my son claims him. He says that's his cat. I'm like, well, I'm the one that's feeding him. That's my cat. Isn't that right? If you feed it, it's yours. Well, I feed him. I do have a lot of cats. But most of them are drop-offs. The only ones that are not drop-offs, let's see. Little One, I'm going to call him a drop-off. Then I have Loose, Oscar, which he was a rescue. He was at my workplace, hiding in our shop at my workplace. So I got him and brought him home. And when you have a kitten, you need more than one. He was so shy and stayed hid. I didn't realize that's just his temperament. And I got Lucy from my sister-in-law. And she's a holy terror. But then my cat, he was my cat. And my husband, I'll tell you, my husband adopted this cat from, like, PetSmart. And he wasn't even 8 weeks old, and they were adopting him out. And because immediately we ran into a vet person out in the parking lot, and she was like, this kitten is only like 4 weeks old. So we knew, you know, she's like, I would take it back in there. And I'm like, nope, not going to. It needs a home too. So we brought him home, and he was my baby from day one. But we lost him a little over a year ago to gallbladder cancer. And we went to PetSmart because our TV that was less than a year old had gone out. And we were at the place because we had already talked to the manufacturer, and they're like, well, just go back here. We've sent you a credit. Go pick you out another one. When they come set this TV up, they'll pick the other one up. And we're like, fine. Because they had already sent technicians and all out, and they're like, no, it's dead. Because they thought I might be doing something wrong. I thought I might be doing something wrong. Because it's one of them high-tech TVs, you know. I'm not high-tech. Well, I don't know. Look at my sewing machine. I must be high-tech. When it comes to TVs, I'm not high-tech. A child knows how to work them things better than I do. But the place that we purchased the TV from was right next to PetSmart. So While my husband was handling that, I'm like, well, I'm just going to go over to PetSmart. Well, he had already headed over there. Wait, I think, yeah, he headed before me. And then as I was walking in the store, he's like, don't go back there where the kittens are. Because he knows I always go back to where the kittens are and I look at the kittens that's being put up for adoption. And I'm like, why? Well, I kept walking, and when I got there, I stopped in my tracks. There was my little Augie. Her name was August. And she looked just exactly like my Ash that we lost last year. And same, I mean, her coat exactly the same. Her eyes exactly the same color. And I was just like, it's a sign. And the cat in the cubicle right next to her, his name was Ash. I was like, that's a sign. I should have gotten, and the one that's name was Ash was a black cat. So I probably should have gotten that one. Because Augie, oh my goodness. She gives me a run for my money every day. Now she's my husband's cat. She's not my cat. She's my husband's cat. But that's because he gives her catnip treats and I don't. Because I'm like, she's crazy enough as it is. I don't need to give her anything else. But he don't have to deal with the upset tummy when he goes back to work and her not using the litter pan and using the restroom on the floor in front of the litter pan because her tummy is hurting. I'm the one that has to deal with that. So I told him, I said, I'm just going to say this. We have a pan that the litter pan sits on in case something like that happens. So it's not on the floor and we can take the pan outside and wash it off. Because I've had a kitten before that if any other cat had used that litter pan, they wouldn't use the litter pan and they would potty right in front of the litter pan. So we've already experienced that. And we learned how to remedy it real quick. A little pine sol and water hose does wonders. And at least it's not on my floor. You know, that's the main thing. It's not on my floor. Because if it was on my floor, I'd end up mopping that bathroom every single day probably. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the crosshatch on this because it's not coming out even. So I don't think it would look good. I don't know. Maybe it would take away from the curvy, the curvy lines. But we're at an hour now. And of course I will knock some down. But I'm going to finish this up though with you guys, because I'm sure there's going to be a good bit that I have to cut out. I want to give you guys at least 30 minutes here, maybe 20. That might be enough. Because, guys, I was watching my analytics and looking at them. I don't normally look at those things. But it looks like the length that most people watch a video is about 20 minutes long. So maybe I may start reducing my content down. Oh, these lines are just all swervy. Now I see why people do that curvy line. Because if you got the curvy line, you really can't tell that they not right. But this, you can really tell. They curvy. But it ain't gonna matter. This is my grandbaby. This will be a quilt for her to play with. It's a tester quilt. It's getting quicker the closer I get to the end. Maybe I'm just getting quicker because I'm ready to have it done. Right here at the top, it kind of curves. This lets me know I need to just do larger quilts and send them to the long armers. Because, no. Now I know. Silverstone, it's going to the long armers. I'm not going to try to do this to that. Hey, we are almost done here. And guys, I want to thank you all for coming and visiting with me today. I do have a Facebook group out there. If you would like to join that, you do have to request to join. And I'm just going to say it again. I've been getting a lot of these requests. If you are a new Facebook member, please email me at the email address down in the description and let me know you're a new Facebook member that you would like to join. I am getting a lot of group requests to join, or requests to join the groups from Manassas, Virginia, I think, and they're content creators, and you could tell it's all women, like provocative women, and I'm like, no, you don't quilt, honey. You may web a weave of something, but it's not quilting. So I'm being very selective, because to me, those are scammers, and once they get in there, they can do all kinds of things. And just so y'all know, I will never, ever, ever, ever tell you you've won something in a comment, ever. It will be a post, it will be a video, it will never, ever be an email or a comment. Because they have found ways to copy your, like, they have found a way to copy my name. I had to change my name on my groups to MyHobbyHomeLife, which I'm going to change that back to My Hobby Home, because it's not MyHobbyHomeLife. That is my email address, but that's not my channel name. But because they had started trying to, they were sending comments to people that, and if you ever get anything like that, start reading through all the comments. Check to see if there's multiples that look like that. That way, you know, I just want y'all to protect yourself. I never ask for money. I never tell you you've won anything in a comment. Because all I ask is just keep watching. Your views help me. It supports my channel. And I mean, if you ever want to support my channel, I have a link in my description for support for my channel. But it is never requested. I never request that. Because, and if I do, if there ever is a need and I reach out to my YouTube community, there will be a video and there will be an explanation as to why. But I don't foresee that. But I know sometimes there are emergencies that are unforeseeable, and sometimes people just need a little help. And I mean, I'm not going to say that is never going to happen, but I hope it never happens. I hope that we've planned far enough in advance that anything that happens, we're good to go. Okay. Well, this is, y'all see, this is my backing for that. It's white with little flowers on it. I'm only going to do that section right there. I'm not going to cross hatch it, but so now I have one project. All I have to do is bind, and I'm probably going to do a self-bind on this because I have enough fabric that comes off on each side to self-bind it. But if I don't, I've got plenty leftovers to cut up and sew on here, which would be perfect. And guys, once again, I really appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your busy day to come see what I have going on. If you could, please feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Goodbye.